My girlfriend gave her number to a hot guy while I was sat right next to her. Now she's saying she's scared how I'll react, so now there's only one choice. My girlfriend, 28 feet, and I, 28 meters, have been together for almost 2 years. Today we were out getting coffee, and she brought her cute little dog along too. This place was busy with all kinds of people and families around. I left for a minute to get a drink, and when I came back she was talking to some handsome guy while he was petting the dog. I didn't think anything of it at first because people will often come up and pet or talk about our dog. I wasn't worried until they took their phones out. I got a little uncomfortable and she seemed a little uncomfortable as well, and when I asked her what that was about and who that was, she waited until he left to talk. She said that was weird. And I asked her why she gave him her number and if she said she had a boyfriend. She did not tell him she had a boyfriend and later said she felt bad for not. We talked and she said she was confused and flustered, and would never meet up with him and promised me that she will do better, and that she would block him as soon as he tries to contact her. I couldn't help but think the worst and wonder if this was the first time to happen and what would have happened if I wasn't there or what happens when she goes out. I later confronted her when we left and went home, admittedly upset about the situation, and asked her why I shouldn't just leave and if she wants to be with me or not. Her defense was she was tired and was not expecting someone to ask for her number there, thinking he was just being nice. We later talked it out, and I came to see her perspective that maybe it's sometimes hard to say no to a man hitting on you, and later apologized for being so upset. But a part of me feels like it's not like you were in a dark alley alone at night. How hard was it to say the guy sitting across from you, me, is your boyfriend? And how hard is it to tell him no? We later kinda made up and watched a movie, but now she's upset about how I reacted to the situation, saying, "I've never seen this side of you." The way I reacted worried her, and she wants to talk more. I guess I'd like some outside perspective people. Did I overreact? Is what she did acceptable? Or is this some kind of gray area? Update. She talked to me about how I reacted the next morning. She told me she was afraid of me and thought I would physically hurt her. Then wanted me to promise that I would never hurt her physically. I said, "That's ridiculous, I would never hurt you and I'm offended you would think so." To clarify, the moment she is referring to is when we got home. Out in the parking lot I raised my voice, "What were you thinking?" Then I went back to my car and drove off because I needed a break before we talked about it. I phoned a friend then came back. At no point did I ever hit anything or touch her, nor have I ever in the past. I'll admit I have never raised my voice in any of our previous arguments. Anyways, after trying to talk about it a few more times, we find our discussion running in circles, and she says she needs space and wanted to stay in a hotel. I said I'd just stay at my parents' place a few nights. After spending a few nights apart, we got together Tuesday to talk again. I asked her what's been on her mind, and she says she's sorry for what she did and had no idea this was going to be so triggering for me and promised to never do it again. I got a bit defensive and basically said you were wrong, and I did not overreact. I told her my biggest issue was her believing I would ever hurt her and if she truly believed I would. She said in that moment, yes. We basically picked our hills to die on where she believed I overreacted, and I believe my reaction was justified. Then I just said, "What do we do now, should we call it?" She said I don't know and started crying and said she couldn't talk anymore and she didn't imagine this is how this conversation would go. I can't imagine being with somebody who is scared of me and where I overreacted, let alone build the trust again. I figured it's just best to call it. I wished her best of luck and said it was great while it lasted. I reached out for a good time to grab my things, and she said I could come by today. She also wanted to talk to me again for some closure and try to end on a better note. I started off by apologizing for raising my voice and that I would never physically hurt her. She said, "I know you wouldn't, I was just surprised." She also said the time we had together was great and enjoyed it. She said she never imagined it ending so suddenly like this. We were both pretty teary. I asked her if she still wants to do this, and she said yeah, it's too late, the damage was done. I agreed, and started packing my things. It was awkward gathering my things with her father there, he had flown in from their hometown. They were eating dinner and laughing and seemed to be having a great time, which left me admittedly a bit bitter in the moment. I got all my things and say goodbye, then she asks for a hug, and I hesitate but said okay. We hugged and said goodbye. My heart hurts, and maybe I made the wrong decision and should have done couple counseling first. But also her saying she knew I wouldn't hurt her today made me feel like what you all were saying was true and I made the right choice. Edit. To be clear, we drove home separately after that incident. I said we will talk about it later and initially was not upset. And while driving home, I kept thinking about it and got upset. When we both arrived at our place in our parking lot I raised my voice. Then removed myself to avoid escalating the situation. I did not know what else to do. I could not help the emotions I was feeling. I couldn't make sense of her actions. I was able to tell a woman who asked for my number I have a girlfriend, so why couldn't she do the same with me sitting right across from her? I calmed down and later accepted this and we made up. But her telling me to promise not to physically hurt her did not feel real. I know I would never hit her, and she later says she knows I would not. Even if she did do it on accident, it felt like she downplayed my reaction and possibly lied about her worrying I would hit her, which was my biggest issue. I don't believe she's cheated on me, but in the moment, I felt she was not fully committed like I was. Maybe you're right, I did jump to conclusions and regret not taking it slow and trying couples counseling first. I plan on going to therapy this weekend and working on myself for a while before dating again. Can I just ask how you would react if your spouse gave their number out right in front of you and not mention you were their partner?